Hi guys, I'm set up a little bit different. Give me just a sec. Hello. So I'm just going to share some things. When I was cleaning up in the back room, and I did a short to kind of see where I got to, but I ran out of time, so some of it just got pushed back. But most of the yarn has been put with the light yarns back there. I need to focus on making things to use that yarn up. So I would like to get it to where I only have the storage boxes, no bags or something like that. So anyway, first thing I want to share, good morning, Keeks Hunt, is my gardenia is really showing out this year. And I went out and I picked a couple fresh flowers. One's still in bud form and then one's all bloomed out. And I just think they are gorgeous this year. And of course, they smell. And yesterday we were cleaning up from finishing that side of the flooring. And Scott was like, "What is that smell? I keep smelling it every time I come by." I said, "It's this gardenia right here." And he's like, "Well, I've been wondering all weekend what that was." And I said, "It's the gardenia. It's very heavy in scent, that's for sure. Don't they smell wonderful?" And this one is just really, I just love when they get just perfect like that. Good morning, Peg. So let me put this over on the fireplace mantle so I can look at it. And we're going to go over some things I found. And we'll talk about them. I kind of have to keep an eye and ear out for the dog because she came in to eat. And if I don't pay attention, she'll have an accident. She's old. Greg, before he left he's handed me these jeans, one at one time and then one at another time. And I found when I was cleaning up back there, the pieces of jeans that when I have to do any kind of repair, or if Scott casts off a too holy pair of pants, I chop it up so I have patches because I don't like that iron-on stuff. And so Greg gave me two of his work jeans. Let me show you something. So I had tried to do visible mending before, but I need to redo this one. And that autofocus is already driving me nuts. And I can't turn it off. I'm having trouble with the whole getting on here today. So anyway, I see it's kind of thin right here by the corner of this pocket. So I will go ahead and put a patch there. But then I've got to try to patch that where it runs right on that thick seam. That ought to be interesting. But the reason he handed these to me is he blew out the crotch in the front. So I got to fix those. So those are like the challenge pair. And then last week, he blew out the back of these here. And I've already started this repair while I was watching Janet Nash. And there's another little hole here that I'm going to. And I know everybody says, they're holy, but he does work in a warehouse where they want it to be, semi-professional. But here's another kicker. I got to fix that crotch area too. And he's got some holes over here. So basically he wants me to just put fabric back in place. And I'll show you how I'm doing it. The denim I had is really dark. So what I did is I put the darkest part on the inside. And I've just covered the area and folded over the edge. And so it's all tucked in all the way around. And I've hand stitched all the way around it because I had to do that because part of it's under the pocket. So I had to reach in the pocket and stitch that. So now on the outside, I've cut away the furry parts of the hole. And I'm tucking under 1/4 inch all around the whole opening, except the side of the pocket, because there's nothing left for me to tuck under. So I'm just going to stitch the edge of the pocket down to the patch material. And so all of that will be stitched down tight so he'll less likely catch it on something. So I've got to do that everywhere he's got a hole in here, and see if I can rescue with these. He really needs some new jeans, but he loves these because they're worn in, they're comfortable, and they look awful. I mean, they're stained, but he's maintenance in a warehouse. And he said, there's no point in me getting brand new jeans to wear them in there and have them ruined. So he's his mom and dad's child. So there's that. That's my challenge to get done today, is patching those jeans. Also, when I was in the back, they're not hard. It's just tedious to do the patch the way I do. I could do some of it on the sewing machine, but getting up over those really thick seams, even with a hump jumper, jean jumper thing that you put at the back of the feet, it's just hard on the machine and the needles, and I can do it by hand. Good morning, Teresa. Yep, there's nothing like an old comfy pair of jeans. Somewhere I have a picture of my grandmother. It's in the back also. And it's a picture of her in her garden with her hoe in her hand, with my horse with his head down behind her where she'd been throwing weeds. And she's wearing a pair of her jeans that she got to wear after my grandfather passed away. She kept those jeans going, and she had patches on her patches on her patches. There must have been like 5 or 6 different shades of denim down the fronts of her legs, but they still worked and they were still holding on. So don't be afraid to mend your clothing. You don't have to have brand new stuff all the time. That's just silly. So I'm going to go over the things I currently have started, like the top. And this is, again, the link I put in last time I came on here. The Cosmos blouse on Hobie's website. I just wanted to show you real quick how far I've gotten. I'm on the last skein of yarn. The hook's gotten caught. Hang on. So I'm on this last skein, and that's the neck opening. It's really wide. It's loose. I've made a size large. I probably could have made a size medium, but basically they all fit like this. You just keep going until you got it to the length you want. And so this fits anybody from a small up to, what did they say? You just keep going around. The largest size is a 4XL if you just kept going. A 4XL, to get to 4XL, let me tell you how many rounds that is, because that's all you really need to know. I know it had it on here. 51 rows for a 4XL, 48 for the 3, 45 for a 2, 42 for an extra large, 39 for a for a 1X, and then an extra large, then a large, then a medium, and a small. So anywhere from 30 is the small. 30 rows would be the small. So if I just keep going and stop at 30, which I think I'm going to do, is just stop at the 30 rows. And I think it'll be plenty long enough, because basically I just want something I can put on when I go in restaurants and places and they've got the air conditioner like at 65 or lower. It's crazy. I just want something I can throw on and be warm. And this is working up really fast. It's not really a granny stitch because you're only doing a V stitch in the spots around. You're not doing the whole 3 double crochets. You're doing V stitches instead. So it does work up quickly. So if you're looking for something just to throw on, And I'm using yarn that I thrifted. It's Loops and Threads Barcelona. And this is the last skein. So wherever this takes me, that's the size I'm going to get made. I do know that once I get so many rows around, you have to have enough yarn to do up the sides, the side openings to create your sleeves. All right. And I have to make one more of these chicken coasters for my friend before she moves to Vermont. But I need to make one more chicken like this because it's a set of 6 and you get 2 of each kind. So there's a chicken there. And then this chicken is peeking out that way. And then this one's just looking down lower. Oh, and actually, yeah, that one goes like that. So she's looking between her legs at you. But I need to make one more like this. And I've got the yarn is here. I could probably, there's the hook for it. I could probably get all of this in this handy thing that the bedspread or something came in, or sheet set. And if I do that, then these tails will quit tempting the cats. And that makes a great project bag. So if you buy any linens or stuff, save the little bags because that's like a wonderful project bag. Look at that. And then I've got the white here. This pattern is also online for free to print off. It's just called the Crochet Chicken Coasters Free Pattern. If you look that up, this pops up. All right. So there's that project needs to be done. So I've got 2 pair of jeans, a top, a chicken. Oh, and then when I was cleaning up, I found that chicken pot holder pattern. I think I'm going to make her a couple fabric chicken pot holders to go with her coasters. Then I think we mentioned this one before. This is the scarf I found in the drawer on the other side here from Yarn Inspirations. This is the Delicate Shells Crochet. They call it a shawl, but to me, does that look like a shawl? That looks like a scarf. But anyway, I'll just show you a quick peek because I just showed it last week. This is what it looks like so far. And you work top down. So that's going to be pretty. And I did wind off some of this lighter color because I wanted to expose the next colorway. This is Red Heart. It's a wrap, and there's quite a distance between the colorways. So I'm doing so many rows, and then I'll wind that color off, and then I'll just start with the brown and just make my own layering up using the yarn I have available. So that's another project. And so this is my idea for this. I'm thinking about doing this just like I did the stuff the 21 projects I had for the sewing. I'm thinking of making a list and numbering these projects and finishing them. And it'll probably take me longer to finish some of them than others because we're not done yet. This project that's in this cool bag someone made me, and it's actually a stitching bag because it's got a bunch of pockets all around the outside, and there's a zippered pocket on the back. And this was a swap I did in my quilt group that we don't do very many swaps anymore, but it was fun. This was the 2023 Mystery Crochet Along with Multivalence. And you were supposed to use their yarn, but I was substituting some yarn that I could get at Joann's, which I would love. It's a big twist yarn. And this is as far as I've gotten so far. I think the reason I stopped on this is my count got messed up. So I may, as much as I hate to, I may rip this back just so that I can get my count correct. Isn't it gorgeous? And it was free at the time. And I believe I printed off all of the things. Well, here it is finished. So I need to finish it. I hope I have all of them because I don't think I can get them anymore. The actual, um, each clue. I think I've got all the clues, but I may not. But it was turning out so pretty. Or I may fudge the stitching and not rip it back, but just kind of add a few stitching until I get to the right number. If I add, just so many around, I think I could make it work just as it is. This yarn that I'm using, that's another thing. I can't get any more of this yarn, so I have to use it. But this was Big Twist Panoramic from 2 years ago, and I've got one of each color of the blue, green, cream, and the orange. So I'm trying to use it, kind of similar to how she used her yarn in there. But I'd love to finish this. This would be another one of those things I could pop in a bag to go out to lunch somewhere with my sisters or something. So that one's a project. Or I might just work a little bit on these each week, like maybe do work on one on Monday for like 30 minutes and schedule it 30 minutes at a time and just work on it one at a time. I need to catch up with chat, but I need to put Bernadette out because she's already starting to wander. Hang on. Oh, Bernie, come here, honey. Come on, honey. Hey, come on. Let's get you back. This way. I know. I'm going to bring you in a little bit so you can be in because it's getting awful hot because it's already 87 degrees. Come on. I will put you out the cat. Come on. You can go off the porch here. Come on. I'll be right back, guys. Oh, careful, honey. Oh, she's so happy. She's rubbing her head on the ground. Okay, let me see. So yeah, I might just schedule myself to do a little bit on each one of these. I do want to get Greg's jeans finished, but wait, we're not done. Yeah, it's not going to go lower than 70 overnight all week. So it can go all the way up. I think that they showed the high was going to be like 90, 91. So yeah, it's going to be so hot. All right, this, I was doing the even moss stitch, and I'm keeping track of how many rows I have. Apparently, I don't have a row counter, and I'm horrible with those. I do better to, write it. But I'm using, a yarn that I could only get at Joann's. But according to the news, Michael's will be carrying some of this, but this may be discontinued by now. So I had a couple in this color, and I had one in this color. And this is K&C Knit and Crochet Premium Yarn, Essential Cottons, 180 yards or 165 meters. And it's a size 3. And I was just going to make a small baby blanket. And I've already used this much of this one. Oh, no, I have 3 of these. So I'm going to do 3 of variegated, 1 of the green, 5 variegated, 2 of the green. That's the pattern that I set up for my repeats. Got my hook in here. And this is the little blanket so far. And like I said, it's not going to be real big, but it's the even moss stitch. And I just think it's turning out so pretty. And it'll just be a small baby blanket, just to lay over a baby. And it's gender neutral. Woohoo! I swear it doesn't look like that straight though. Maybe it just needs to be blocked out. I'm going to do a stitch count before I start back up with it. Make sure I haven't messed myself up. So that was another one that's one I can work on easily because I love cotton. I love to work with cotton yarn. And this is another reason to clean up your stash, because you'll find projects you started. You will. I'm telling you, you will. So that's another one. So in crochet, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the last one is in here. Let's see. Hey, all. Hope everyone is doing well. We are waiting on rain again. Yes, I agree. Summer needs to wait. Now, the storm we had night before last, our power went out at 9:38, and they got it on about 9:30. So it was off for basically 12 hours. And they got it on, and then another storm came through, and the power started fluctuating. And so we just turned the air conditioner off because it was doing one of those, like, where it goes off and then comes back on. And Scott said, that's just too hard on the air conditioner. So we turned it off until the storm had passed through, because that constant on off can blow your stuff up. So we turned it off, and then it finally cleared away. But Greg came in and told us there was a tree down right across our street at the top end on that end. I haven't left the house all weekend, so I was going to drive around after I sign off on here and just see where all the trees came down. I think our problem was at the house at the top. They have what we call, the pole pigs, the big what looks like a big can on your poles. We have one in our backyard. Ours was fine, but the one that's at the top of the street, it looked like a branch had hit one of the surge bars, and they just take a pole and they just shove it so it grabs it back. So as soon as they did that, our power came back on, and I was just like, we're going to have to go somewhere for coffee. If this power doesn't come back on, we're going to need to go somewhere for coffee. And Scott's like, we'll go somewhere for coffee. And then the power came on, so we were able to make coffee and breakfast and then get busy. This is, oh no, let me look at something. Okay, I'm hoping all the parts are here. This is for this little guy. It's a little elephant. Isn't he cute? And I don't know what's going on with this yarn. Look at that. What on earth is wrong with this yarn? I don't know. That's weird. What is that yarn anyway? It's Premier Anti-Pilling Everyday DK. And I do have some pieces started. So let's see what we got. The hook is really small. So I think what I have, there's the hook. It uses a E. 1 to 2.25 millimeters. It's a B, yeah. So I've got the two little legs. There's two little legs and the trunk. So that's all I got started on that one. I don't understand why that yarn is untwisting. So that gives me 6 things to work on Mondays for stitch hour from 2 to 3 or longer. So 6 of them. I want to get Greg's jeans finished today, and I could probably do that chicken and get the chicken done. The only other thing I wanted to share is also when I was cleaning up in the back, I came across the box of the fabrics I had left over or didn't get to from last year's Project Dress a Girl. I'm not going to pull them out, but I'm going to show you them all nice and neat in here. So I got all those fabrics that I can use for Project Dress a Girl. And some of them will be mixed fabrics. The only ones I'm really concerned about using are the ones that look kind of Christmas colors. I don't know. I know they say don't use cartoon characters or like licensed fabrics. Don't use like Mickey Mouse or any of that. And or movie theme, don't do that. You can do like a generic deer or a generic, mice or whatever, but they can't look like oh, you say it's just over twisted? Well, it looks like it's all coming into single strands again. So I don't know. I'll have to see how it works out. It's only an elephant anyway, right? So there's some beautiful fabrics in here. I've got the bag under the table back there. And I want to get some dresses cut out this week so I can get started. I do want to try to use up as many of my Project Dress a Girl labels as I can. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Vicki, is I'll just cut that section out that's messing up. It's not like I need that whole skein to make that little elephant anyway. And so, yeah, I think that's what I'll probably do. And that is what I have to share. And that's at about 30 minutes. I'm trying to keep these lives no more than an hour these days because that's about all I'm good for. So thanks for hanging with me and seeing my pretty gardenias at the beginning. And maybe I will see some of you guys in the stitch along at 2:00 Eastern. Sometimes it gets opened earlier because sometimes I think people want to get together earlier. And all you got to do is shoot me a message and say, hey, can we start early? If I'm available, I'll say go for it. Or if I'm not, I'll still say go for it because, other people can get together. But I'll see some of you later. Thank you, guys. And I'll see you next video. Bye. There's Ruth's sweet hand. Bye, Ruth.